What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the WWE Smackdown Aftershow. I am Josh Tariff. This week, it's just the OGs hanging out. Gabby and Bryant are off this week, but it's just me and my buddy, the man, the dad, the calm one himself, Mr. Tom Connolly. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay. Trying to stay calm,
Yeah, as you do oh so well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why it's in your damn name, for crying out loud.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, we hope everybody is enjoying as best as you can and staying safe this holiday weekend. But we need to break down this week's SmackDown because, Tom, I don't know about you, but to me, this was easily, without a shadow of a doubt, the best episode of SmackDown that we've had since WrestleMania.
True. 100% agree with you on that.
Like, between all the matches were good, if not great. You elevated certain stories. You started to get things ready for the pay-per-view. You were elevating some people. Everything. This is like an example of why can't we do stuff like this every week?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it was like they remembered that they're a wrestling show. And instead of being like, oh, let's just put on like 2-minute matches and move on to the next thing. It was like, oh, we have like some of the best wrestlers in the world here. And let's just let them go for like, 15, 20 minutes and see what happens. And that's exactly what they did. And I think it pays off where it's like, to me, it was the least awkward show without an audience that they've had too.
Yes, absolutely.
Like nothing seemed, I don't know, we'll get into it, but yeah, I'm trying to think there's maybe like one or two things where I was like, okay. But other than that, there was no clunks where you're like, oh man, I really wish an audience was here.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So the show kicks off with the dirt sheet. If people DVR'd the show and they put it on, they might have thought, wait, I'm watching last week's episode. No, last week started with Miz TV. This week started with the dirt sheet. It's different. Even though Morrison is out there for both of them, it's different, guys.
Yeah.
But I did find that odd. I'm like, why? Why are we doing both of these like that? But Miz and Morrison out there talking trash, continuing based on how they were talking last week about Otis being Money in the Bank and Braun Strowman being so dumb, agreeing to be his partner when he could have cashed in. And then they talked about how Bray Wyatt replaced Braun Strowman with puppets. They introduced some rejected puppets, that didn't make the final cut for the Firefly Funhouse.
Were they supposed to be bad? As bad as they were? Or was that supposed to be funny?
I mean, it was supposed to be so bad that it was funny.
Okay. It was bad and not funny. So.
This leads Braun Strowman to come out, and he's like, thanks for having me on your show. Ask me a question. And it's just like, well, no, that's Miz TV. That's like Dirt Sheet. They don't normally have guests or interview people. This is awkward. Braun's taking our spotlight, guys. But then Braun says something to trigger Miz about being like, you really think Bray Wyatt is done with you? Do you remember everything that he did to me? Like, I went to the lowest part of my career, and thankfully John came in and helped me. But there's no one to help you. Bray is not done with you. Seed planting for the Fiend.
Yeah.
And then Morrison jumps in and just being like a super fast-talking guy, saying that Miz can beat up Braun. And I loved the little comical interaction with Morrison and Miz. And Miz like, no, I don't think Morrison, he's going to take it. No, I don't think that's a good idea. And Braun's like, you're on. And then we go right into Braun versus Miz, which was short, but I loved it. This match never slowed down. It was fast-paced, hard-hitting through the whole short time. It was a game of Miz and Morrison trying to find ways to get Braun off his feet. Eventually, the champ prevails. If I were to nitpick, I'm not crazy on the nonchalant cover on someone as high on the food chain as Miz, but I had no problem with the match itself. I thought it was excellent. And then afterwards, Morrison gets on the mic and challenges Braun to a handicap match for the Universal Championship at Backlash. So that could possibly mean co-Universal Champions, or just one of them, if they happen to pin Braun, wins the Universal Championship. But it still continues this feud between Miz Morrison and Braun while you still got Bray waiting. So I think it's excellent.
Yeah, I thought the match was good. It's, I like that Miz has at least gotten some offense during the match. I'm just like, I hate that the only way to get him down is like, you have to make sure he runs into the ring post to get him down. Like, I wish we could come up with some more creative ways of doing that, where it's like the Lesnar thing. How many times did Lesnar had a match where once he went outside the ring, he would run headfirst into the ring post, and that was, when the face or whoever was going against him will get their advantage. I just think it's like, let's find something different to do with it.
They fixed that with Brock though, so he doesn't always have to run into the ring post now. You just give him a low blow.
Yes, exactly. So then everyone did that. Like, it was like, okay.
So it won't be long before everyone starts giving Braun Strowman low blows.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought, I liked, Morrison trying to interfere and help the Miz. And then I think it'll be interesting to see a handicap match. I'm fine with it because I think I liked watching Morrison and Braun go at it last week in the tag match. So I think there's at least a lot that can happen there. And I mean, Morrison against a really big guy is going to be real different because we've seen him against a lot of smaller guys lately.
Yeah.
So seeing how he can use his parkour style. And then, the Fiend stuff in the background I think is interesting too, where you're like, okay, let's see where he's going to come into this. Because, I mean, it could happen next month. They could wait till SummerSlam to do the Fiend again. So.
Oh yeah, I don't see the Fiend showing up until at least the end of the match on Backlash.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the earliest that I see him come back, because then that's giving Braun at minimum between a 3-4 month reign. So it's not a transitional type champion then, which is good. I'm never a fan of you win the title and then the top title in the business, and then like a week later you lose it.
Yeah.
So I like that and that's at minimum. Again, like you're saying, this could very well go to at least SummerSlam, and then we will see what happens from there.
Go ahead. Braun did beat Goldberg, and Goldberg beat the Fiend. So I mean, we could see the Fiend lose again.
This is also true.
They may not be.
Braun could beat the Fiend.
Yeah,
they could just decide to roll with Champ Braun for several months.
Oh, and also, sorry, on a side note, his finisher needs a move, a name. I mean,
the Power Slam ain't a move, and a name.
No. Like he needs like some kind of like why isn't that now called like the Strowman Express or something like that? Or I don't know.
God. They're gonna take
something.
That. Well, the Strowman Express, wouldn't that
That's
be
like
when he's running around the ring?
Oh, I guess so. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know, something. I just think it needs to be called something. I just hate it where it's like the running powers. Like everyone has a name for their finisher. The running power slam is just the name of the move. It's not the name of the finisher. You're gonna get technical.
Well, we got some technical clarification in the next match, Intercontinental Championship first round tournament match, Nakamura versus AJ Styles. We'll get into the AJ in just a second, but we need to mention something on the show because at the start of it, you saw the graphic of the brackets, and you see the graphic of the bracket of Drew Gulak and Daniel Bryan when Daniel Bryan advanced last week. I cannot emphasize this enough. Less than 10 minutes after we recorded last week's episode, where we were talking about Gulak should have actually won the match. Could have been cool to see him actually become Intercontinental Champion or feud for the title once the tournament is over. Not 10 minutes after we finished, the news broke of Drew Gulak being released. We found out shortly after that it was actually that his contract ended and was not renewed, where it could still very well happen, but at that point he was no longer under contract with WWE. And it's just one of those things. It's just like, you've been pushing this guy for the last 3 months. Why would you not get something like this done?
Mm-hmm. And also, like, I think I saw online where it was like he was kind of like asking for more money in the situation. And it's like, okay, well, you guys just let go like 40-some people. Like, whatever you were paying them, you could have taken a little bit of each of them and given it to him to make him happy.
And it's not like he was asking for Brock money or anything of that
exactly,
nature.
Yeah. So it's like, to me, it just shows that they really had no plans for him and nothing was going to happen after this tournament, even if he was around. Like, I just think, if anything, he would have had one more match with Daniel Bryan and then would have just kind of faded into the background and probably would have been released anyway if his contract wasn't up, which sucks because I think he's an awesome wrestler and a great talent to have on your roster.
Yeah.
And I really hope he does. Like, I texted you, I was like, I hope he shows up on AEW Wednesday night just to show that, like, hey, this is how the game's played now. You just get rid of someone. If we think they're valuable, we're going to take them and we're going to use them and we're going to exploit all the things you didn't do with them and show how amazing they are. So
and that's an important thing that you just pointed out, because obviously with the Black Wednesday, all the releases back in April, just pretty much all of them were still under contract, so they have the 90 days of no competing. Drew Gulak, his contract was up. I think Revival, their contract was up at the time too. So they technically could start wrestling somewhere else immediately if they chose to. Or if, a company decided to sign them.
Yeah.
So that's why when you say that, we should say, oh, Rusev should be there. So it's like, well, Rusev, who knows when I don't think his contract was up. So he still had the 90 days.
Yeah.
So we may see him somewhere else in about a month or two, but we're not going to, see him anytime soon. So it's just interesting to point that out. And just curious, because Gulak might be back in a few weeks in WWE. Yeah. They might have resolved it, and then they just sign him back, and he jumps back in doing whatever. But
yeah, and but also I think even if you're like in AEW, you wouldn't even have to sign the guy, because what if he's like, I don't really want to, jump into like another contract. I just got out of a contract. Just pay me to be here, for like on a couple shows. Just more of like to beef up the rivalry between the two. It would be like, this is what we're doing now. If if we, just to like, just for the shock factor, I think. Because how many times did we see that during Nitro and Raw years ago, like where something like cool like that would happen? I just think it's more of a get your name out there, get people talking about it.
Sure. The one question though with that is, with all due respect to Drew Gulak, who both of us love, is he a big enough name to get that type of buzz from people?
I mean, I think in the wrestling world, yes. Yeah. Like, I think if he just showed up, it also depends what he does when he shows up too, But I think more for him, it's like, hey, I want to go other places to wrestle too. I don't want to just wrestle here. Even if you do something for a couple months with him, you don't have to sign him to a long-term deal. He does something. He's still getting paid. He's still wrestling. He's getting his name out there. Because it seems like, at least with AEW, like, granted, they want everyone under contract. They don't want people running all over the place. But I think it depends. I think for certain people, you can make an exception.
So we get into the match for the tournament here, Nakamura versus AJ Styles. We were questioning last week, it's like he's just randomly in this bracket, but he's on Raw. What happened? How does this make any sense? They clarify it as he's walking to the ring. AJ Styles has been traded to SmackDown for superstars to be named later. So you might recall Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross were traded, or at least it was just Alexa. I don't remember if it was both of them, were traded to SmackDown and for superstars to be named later. And then eventually other people showed up on Raw. Mm-hmm. So I'm thrilled for SmackDown that AJ's back. I'm going to throw this question out of you because I have a guess, but I want to hear one from you. Mm-hmm. Who are the superstars to be named later that will be switching from SmackDown to Raw? Because they said superstars.
Stars,
so you know it's going to be at least.
Yeah, I mean, AJ's worth at least 2 people, right?
Yeah, agreed.
I'm going to say Lucha House Party.
Oh.
I think it's going to be a tag team, and it's going to be, if anybody, them.
Okay, so.
Or if anything, they trade like Chucky and.
Oh, God. You just separate those and Tucker all together?
Yes,
no.
Yeah.
No. Poor Tucky. Here's my thought. Now, I'm 100% on board with you that it will be a tag team. It's not going to be a Lucha House Party. I think they're just starting to push them. Because they're talking about to be named later, so they don't have to appear on Raw anytime soon. I think Raw is getting Naomi and the Usos.
Well, yeah, because what's his name's out for like a year.
He's out for the rest. He's out for the rest of the year. Exactly. So all of a sudden, when they return, it was like these were the superstars to be named later from AJ going to SmackDown. And Naomi,
we're already gonna have another draft before that, probably though. Like it's like I think it's like dumb where you're all going to the same place to work. Figure this out before you decide who you're, and just be like, hey, sorry, you guys are going to move to Raw now. Like, this is what we're doing. Like, I hate the to be named later thing. It's so stupid.
Yeah,
and I get the sports teams do that, and it's like okay, but that's more for draft picks, though, right? Not for
when the sports teams do it, it's never anyone that you've heard of. It's like
exactly.
It's like a player to be named later in professional sports is the equivalent of when they trade something for cash considerations, which is an actual thing. Like this person is being traded for $1 million is what it comes to.
I'm glad he's on SmackDown again.
I love it.
Talking about it on air, so it's like, okay, this is the way to get him here. I also think he could have just won the Intercontinental title, and that would have made him on SmackDown. I don't think SmackDown needed to trade for him. Like I don't think
need to trade anybody.
We're like losing people for nothing. Like he showed up and wanted to be in the tournament. We just let him in.
Well, the match itself with AJ Nakamura, as we would expect, no pun intended, was quite phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And these guys, obviously, they work so well together. Really cool spot where Nakamura had AJ in the triangle choked, and AJ countered it into a Styles Clash.
Yeah.
Where Nakamura did kick out. Eventually, a phenomenal forearm for the win. AJ Styles advances. And I felt like this was the first time in 3 to 4 months that Fox, people who started watching SmackDown since it moved to Fox, can see, Nakamura is good.
Yeah.
Because we don't know this, because he's just been Sami Zayn's lackey.
Mm-hmm.
But he is, obviously, we all know, an incredible wrestler, putting him with AJ. Hopefully, you do something else with him instead of him just being buddy-buddy with Zayn or Corbin or Cesaro.
Yeah.
You just use him for him.
And the thing that's weird is so Corbin was in the Money in the Bank, and then I thought at least that Nakamura and Cesaro were going to show up and try to help him. Nowhere to be seen. And it's now it's just okay, now Cesaro is not even to be seen with Nakamura. You're just what's happening with? And Cesaro posted a picture of him the tournament, the bracket, and then him being upset about it. And it's why like, I'm sorry, but why is Elias in this? And why is Corbin? Like, there's a lot of people you could have taken out of this tournament.
And this just made me think of something else, because we know WWE likes to say "screw you" in different ways to different of their superstars. So we already stripped Sami Zayn of the title. What if the superstars to be named later that are now moving to Raw are Nakamura and Cesaro?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, once if someone actually saw this match, they'd be like, "Oh, I want Nakamura, sure." And he's never been on Raw.
Yes.
Right? No, I've been on SmackDown the whole time.
Oh.
So. I also think Nakamura is a guy that, I mean, I don't know when his contract is up, but I also don't see him like being like, "Sure, I'll resign to stay here." Like,
yeah, I have no idea when his contract is up. I felt like he re-signed. I don't know, maybe in the last year or so, but who knows for how long.
Okay.
I don't know, but yeah, we'll see who these superstars to be named later will be. Then we got champion versus champion. The NXT Women's Champion, who's a Raw superstar, wrestling on SmackDown, Charlotte Flair, versus the SmackDown champion, Bayley. Prior to the match, Bayley tells Sasha she doesn't want her to be out there at ringside with her. Pretty much she needs to show people that she can win on her own. Her and Sasha have a little more friction, with it. But Sasha listens and does not come out. And this match, I think I've mentioned it one other time so far this year. So I feel like this is officially my second nomination for the SmackDown Match of the Year award.
What was the other
match? And that's what's pissing me off because I'm drawn. It was before Mania. It was like we had crowds, and it was early in the year. And now I'm just drawing a complete blank.
I can't remember either.
Someone
I remember you saying it, but yeah.
I know we have such great fans and listeners. There's going to be someone in our chat roll that somehow is going to pull up on this date. I said this match, and I'm going to thank you for it because I know once I like see the name or a glimpse of it, I'm like, yeah, that was the one. But this match is up there too. These two, we know they know each other so well, like AJ Nakamura, and they brought it to each other. And all of the trash talking that we were getting from them, it's stuff that we haven't normally heard in these empty arena settings.
Yeah.
They both were so good. Charlotte eventually tried an O'Connell roll. Bayley reversed and held onto the ropes to steal a victory. There was one funny moment that caught my attention. I don't know if you caught this. So the match is happening. We're going to commercial break for the commercial break in between.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know what you're going to say. Yes.
Okay. So hold on. Because some people might have not noticed this. So go back and watch it, even just to the clip going just before commercial. Charlotte has thrown Bayley over the barricade. Bayley is down. Charlotte's in the ring posing. We're cut into commercial, and you hear the referee, just as it goes to commercial, yell, 9.
Yeah.
Wait. So the match is over, right? Because Bayley can't physically get from on the ground over the barricade into the ring in a second. You're under the impression, Charlotte must have stopped the count to commercial, then mention it on commentary because the ref was loud and clear. And I was just like, they're not in this match at commercial. It's not in the count out. This is what's happening? But I'm glad you noticed it too.
I did. I was just like, wait, did he say 9? And I was like, it came back and I was like, all right, whatever. Sure. I mean, I watched enough. I'm sure she just started talking smack to the ref and stopped his, distracted him or something. And
yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was a great, I mean, again, these two, like I said, they just said go wrestle. Here, you have this much time. Do whatever you want, and this is what we got. I thought both were really aggressive, which is good. Like aggressive Bayley works, and like I think, I mean, is Charlotte the greatest women wrestler ever?
It's really looking like that.
like if you
I mean,
just,
it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue against it. Take
yeah,
the titles
like,
out of it, just her wrestling ability.
yes. Like I mean, I just think if you look back at all like women's matches that everyone goes, oh, but that was a great match. That was a great match. The majority of them, she's one of the people in the match.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, well, you can't say that. Like, I mean, granted, I do think it's a little ridiculous that she has like 10 title reigns already.
Well,
and she's been around 12. Okay, sure, whatever. What's how are the 12? The 2 NXT ones now we're counting.
So,
right?
So yeah, multiple
she has 5
NXT,
SmackDown, 4 Raw,
Divas,
okay,
and then 2 NXT.
Okay. Like I mean, just give her 17 already. Like might as well. You know what I mean? Like just have her obliterate her dad's record. Like might as well. No one's ever going to get that high again. But I think when you really look at like the structure of like how many matches she's been in that have been, you know, highly rated, there's so many of them, and I think she brings out the best in all 3 of the other horsewomen. Is really what it comes. Like they just bring out the best in each other. But
yeah,
I think that when they have something that they can really sink their teeth into, it makes for obviously a better match.
But not even just the horsewomen. She's had great matches with Asuka. She had great matches with Ronda. She she had a match last week against Ruby Riott, which wasn't the greatest match ever recorded. No, but it was still an entertaining match, especially when a casual fan tuning in sees Charlotte like a foot taller than Ruby Riott. Why would we think that Ruby has a chance? But she had a chance in that match. So, I mean, Charlotte and Rhea, Charlotte and Io. So there's so much talent that we know in the women's division in itself. But yeah, when they wrestle Charlotte, it's just like when we say when someone wrestles AJ or someone wrestles Daniel Bryan. It's just like, all right, they're already really good, but all of a sudden in this match, they're there. They just get brought up every time.
Exactly.
And that's why they have her on every show right now.
Yeah. And then I saw that she's like in like a triple threat match on Raw to face Asuka. Yeah. Like, to me, I'm like, okay, you're pushing it a little too far. There's how many other women that are on Raw? Charlotte should be only on NXT right now. I don't like that she's on Raw. Like I agree.
No, I agree with that. And personally, I hate promotions for a match like that. So all of a sudden, I know we're getting into Raw, so we'll get back into SmackDown in a second. But I just have to whine about one little thing because SmackDown was so good. So there's a little thing I need to whine about. Last week on Raw, Nia Jax got in Asuka's face. She destroyed Kairi Sane. She's clearly in a feud with Asuka. Next week, who gets a title shot against Asuka? Will it be Charlotte? Will it be Natalya? Or will it be Nia Jax? I was just like, because she just freaking beat up her friends. Of course it's going to be Nia Jax. It's a no-brainer.
I just think it's weird.
I wish that match happened. I wish that match happened before all the other stuff happened with Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Yeah. So it's like, it's like sometimes they like do things and you're like, why are you doing that now? You should have done that 2 weeks ago. And then at least it would have been better. But yeah, I just think it's a little too much. I don't need her on every show. Right. I think that's where you get that, the I would say not anymore, but more like the Roman Reigns effect of like too much is not good.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to oversaturate it. Exactly.
Yeah. But it's also it wasn't like anybody, an NXT champion, was showing up on Raw. I mean,
but a lot. She's signed to Raw, but happens to be the NXT champion.
Yeah, I know, but I just think it should be like, you're NXT champion, you're on NXT. Like, it's not like, I'm sorry, but Adam Cole's not showing up on SmackDown right now or on Raw.
He's not a SmackDown superstar as much as we want him to be.
Yeah.
After this match, backstage, Sasha's hugging Bayley because she's so proud of her, and Bayley's like, "You didn't think I could beat her, could you? Did you?" I'm just kidding. I know you always had confidence in me. Aha, aha. More awkward tension. Aha, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mixed tag team match. Sonya. I'm just that's
her dating name.
That's their team name. Ziggler and Sonya are Zonya. You're welcome, WWE. That was by accident. Sonya and Dolph Ziggler versus Otis and Mandy Rose. Mini Christian's Closet segment, I guess, because Mandy sporting the Daisy Dukes, Jessica Simpson, Dukes of Hazzard, blue collar lady look. It's just like, oh, okay. Now she's changing her gear to be more like her man.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. And it looked great. But
still couldn't get a kiss on the cheek, though. Like
only a kiss on the cheek. Only a kiss.
He kissed her.
Hey, she's out there in the camera. Makeup's got to stay good.
I guess, yeah.
Can't give people kisses. This was just your classic good guy, bad guy tag team match.
Mm.
It didn't have anything over the top, no crazy moves, no crazy drama segments, but it was good guys in control at the beginning. Otis takes a shot in the steps. He's hurt. Manny checking on him. He's like, no, go in the ring. You could do it. I believe in you. The heat happens from Sonya. Eventually, Otis gets back up. Hot tag, back and forth. Leads finally. Manny gets amped up. But in the end, Sonya Deville, with a Shining Wizard to the back of the head of Mandy, gets a clean pin on Mandy Rose. 2-0 in that series. And then a super kick by Ziggler onto Otis for good measure. This was fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. The Shining Wizard was right on the back of her head. They showed that replay. And then it was also like I didn't realize Ziggler was like holding him back, like he was trying to get to the ring. I just thought that they were like fighting out there. Mandy Rose needs another move besides the running knee though, because I feel like every time she got in the ring,
she's got the slapjack. I know they have a different name for it,
but I feel like when she was making her like comeback,
she
kept doing it. Like I was like, okay, you need something more than knee. Like I can't. That should be your finisher. That knee that you do. So you can't do it as like a regular move all the time, like a clothesline. But everyone uses a super kick all the time anyway. So who am I to say anything? You know, running knee to the face all day, I guess. I was shocked that
drop down, super kick, DDT, kick out.
I was shocked that they didn't win. But I feel like it's like this is like, is it over?
I was pleasantly surprised that they had Ziggler and Sonya win again, because it's still good, and I like that because some feuds 50-50 booking is okay, but in most cases it's not. You want someone to seem like they got somebody's number, and maybe eventually that person comes back and gets that big win, the final payoff, or they just never do. So yeah. I want Sonya to win one or two more. And then finally you have the big payoff gimmick match where Mandy finally gets the monkey off her back and pins Sonya.
I agree, because I think it's like right now, Mandy and Otis, they don't have anything to lose really by losing these matches. Like Otis still has the briefcase, so he doesn't matter. And
we've talked about that for years. If you're Money in the Bank, who cares if you lose all your matches?
Yeah, which I think is if I'm really going to go into booking, I think it'd be way more interesting to have a Money in the Bank winner that goes undefeated, and then it's a thing of like the storyline is you haven't lost yet. What happens when you cash in? What if you lose? You know, I mean, like I think it's at least something different for the Money in the Bank. Sorry, now I'm going with
no, you're fine.
But yeah, I think I'm glad that Sonya and Ziggler won. I think Ziggler super kicking him was like, we need to make this guy the bad guy again because he was not looking like the bad guy. I think they were like, people are really, sympathetic towards you, Dolph. Like, you're checking on Mandy, you're, being this good guy, and you just want your girlfriend back or whatever. That you manipulated into dating you, but she still went along with it. But so we need you to lay out this guy just to get some heat back on you. So right. I don't think it's over. Obviously,
no, it's not over. And
I think we're gonna have another match, another tag match.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Hashtag Sonya. Make it a thing. Another Forgotten Sons promo. Now, this is probably the only area tonight that I felt they dropped the ball. They missed out on a golden opportunity with this, with the Forgotten Sons this week. You started the show with that great Memorial Day weekend tribute. Here are your soldiers that complain about being forgotten. And instead of having them on the actual show involved in something, or them really, bringing that stuff up, you have Steve Cutler having pauses in his promo where you could fit an entire wrestling match in.
What?
And it's just saying,
do you mean?
And he's talking about, we've gone through dark times, and the way you've treated us, the blood has been on your hands, but we want your blood on our hands. You could have done something so much more with this being the time of the year, and you gave us that.
I mean, you know what I thought? Like, to me, when I watched it, and then they did their little, salute thing at the end or whatever.
Like this, right?
Yeah,
Like the side
of the... I was like, oh, so you guys are just DOA without the bikes.
Oh God.
Right?
Wow.
Are they not? I was just like, we just need to get you guys motorcycles because that's what all you are. Like, you're just, to me, it's like you're just like a motorcycle gang without motorcycles.
Wow. It's a 2020 Disciples of Apocalypse. Oh my God.
One of them just needs a chain, right?
No, one of them needs to be named Chain. Oh God.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. And I was like, okay. I mean, the thing that sucks about these groups,
an 8-ball when you need them.
Yeah, the thing it's hard is because I think at least in WWE's mind, they're just so restricted to it's got to be 3 people, can't be more, can't be less. It's got to be at least 3. Got to be 3. To where it's not that we need an NWO kind of thing, but I think it'd be cool to have a group again that is very large, to where you're like, what is happening right now? How are all these people in this, group together?
and I mean, it's interesting you mentioned, because I mean, it's been said by so many people how Vince hates stables. And I feel like the trio is his compromise.
Yeah.
So it's just okay, we'll put them in a trio. Oh, you want to do that now? Well, okay, you guys will be a trio. All right. We have the New Day. They're a trio. They're successful. So you 3 should be a trio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally down for a group of 4 or 5 that involves you have your main eventer, your mid-carder, your tag team, and a female.
Yeah.
So you can take on all divisions.
Yes. Yeah. I just think it'd be so much fun to have something like that again, and even extra people. I don't know. It just. I mean, you look back on those NWO promos and you're like, there is way too many people in this ring. Way too much.
That was excessive.
Yeah. But it was something different. I think it'd be cool if like it was like you have a group on Raw and you have a group on SmackDown, and you think we're gonna get this big feud in the end between them, and we really you find out that they've been like working together the whole time, and then you're like, oh my god, you're like these people just run the place. I don't know.
And I do just want to point out real quick because I'm certain, I know we're filming this in advance and then there'll be the live chat, but I'm certain there's someone in the chat that proudly is typing and sending Undisputed Era has 4. So you're wrong. Vince doesn't run NXT.
Yeah.
and maybe he does since it kind of switched to USA, but Undisputed were already a thing before that. So I know of Undisputed Era. Tom knows of Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
We're aware there are 4 of them, even though Kyle O'Reilly, as he said in promos, has been filming movies. Just roll with us on this, okay? Thank you. Main event, final first round of the match of the Intercontinental title tournament, Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. I honestly really like how they booked this match because they made Sheamus like the absolute beast that he is, dominated 90% of this match, kept getting Michael Cole's face to the point where Corey Graves was even getting concerned for Michael Cole's well-being. But Jeff Hardy being resilient, because he's talking about how he wants the support from his fans for this one last run. Count of the bro kick, rolls up Sheamus, gets a surprise victory. Sheamus is livid as the match ends. Their feud isn't done. Sheamus looks amazing. Jeff Hardy looked resilient. I was totally pleased with how this went.
Yeah, it was at first I was like, oh, he won by roll up, so that's kind of like all right. But the match was like a longer match. It was like, okay, cool. At least they wrestled a long time and it wasn't like a quick like, oh, he rolled him up out of nowhere kind of thing. Which I hate where you're like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I think it definitely helps to continue this. And we kind of talked about it, I think, last week. We were like, oh, Sheamus is going to interfere in the Daniel Bryan Hardy match.
I said
to give Daniel Bryan the victory. Which I really hope. I hope Daniel Bryan wins that match. I don't want Jeff Hardy to be in the finals. Like, I think we need have we had an AJ Daniel Bryan match in WWE? I don't think we have. Like
I feel like for some reason we have, but it wasn't like.
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. Yeah,
a build-up type one. I don't think.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, Daniel Bryan beat AJ for the title. Yes, so we did. Yes.
Oh, was this? This was during Captain Planet. Bryan?
Yeah, when it was when Daniel Bryan turned heel, so we did have a match, and it was great.
Yes. Yeah, because it was the swerve where all of a sudden Daniel Bryan snapped at the end of the match.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that was good.
So let's get that as the final, and we'll all be happy.
I mean, I'd be happy. You'd be happy. I'm sure many people in WWE Universe will be happy. But yeah, so that's how SmackDown wraps. I know Gabby's not here this week to do a full-on wrestling wrap, but there are a couple items that we do need to bring up, and sadly, none of them are positive because they happen to talk about a few unfortunate, tragic deaths that have happened in the world of wrestling over these last several days. First one just recently happened. Japanese female superstar Hana Kimura. She died at the age of 22 due to apparent suicide, and their sources based on how she was a victim of cyberbullying. Now, I'm not gonna go on here and pretend that I know how talented she was, because I'm not familiar with her. Japanese wrestling is not my strong suit. I know she was obviously wrestling in several good promotions out there, but the more important thing is she was 22 with her entire future ahead of her, whether it was in wrestling or whether she decided to do something else. And we've talked about cyberbullying on here in the past with other tragedies. Obviously it's not just in wrestling, it's in everything. And I know I've said this on the show before, and I'll say it again. Even if you don't think that you have anyone that cares about you or supports you, there are people that care about you and support you. No matter what you see on the internet, no matter what people tweet at you or comment on your matches or your vlogs or whatever it may be, there are people that care about you, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's teachers, whether it's coworkers. You can always find that support. Just please reach out. So we know, because there's so many times that we might not know that people feel this way because they're not reaching out about it. Because we can only help if we know about it. And it's a tragedy of someone so young with so much potential going forward in her wrestling career. And I know the wrestling world, especially the international wrestling world, was very stunned and saddened by it.
Yeah, I mean, when you said 22, like it just like gives me chills.
Yeah,
where you just think you're like 22 years old, and I mean, I know it's to me it's like a thing about like just society of like, I mean, social media can do good things. It can bring people together. It can do a lot of good things, but it's so negative, and it doesn't have to be. Like, I don't, and it just, to me, it's just sad where you're like, because if you saw that person face to face, you would never ever say the things that you said to them on your, typing behind your keyboard. You would never say that to their face ever. So it's like, why do you think that, like, and I mean, I don't know how you change social media. I think it should be a thing of, maybe if you need to sign up for an account, like, you need to verify who you are. You can't just put in some random name or some random numbers to get an account, Like, it's like a thing of like, that's
accounts and all that, yeah.
Yeah, like somehow to verify, like, all right, you get a blue check, but that's, them verifying you that you have a certain amount of followers or whatever it is. I don't know how you do that with that. But to me, like, the fact that I could go on there and make up some random little name and no picture, and I could say the most vile, disgusting things about someone that I don't know, that I've never met, that I have no interaction with ever, and then a tragedy like this happens, is just insane that it's able to be tolerated.
Yeah.
It's kind of like where you draw the line of like, what, like, why? It's not that hard to be nice to people. Like, it's just not. And it's like, if
the classic, if you got nothing nice to say, then just don't say it.
Exactly. Like, yeah, like if you don't like someone, you don't have to talk to them. You don't have to interact with them. It's social media. They don't know who you are, and you don't know who they are. It's like, it's just crazy to me that we.
I mean, there are some people that I might not be the most fond of, so I just don't associate myself with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bashing them on any public or private forums. Mm-hmm. Just like, all right, they'll just do their thing. I'm staying away from it.
Yeah, like there's no reason for it, and it just goes so deep, and granted, we're older, so like, we didn't grow up with social media, thank God, because I think growing up with social media has to suck so much, because
I thought it sucked having instant messenger as a teenager, and that's nothing compared to people. I love obviously bringing up my nephews from time to time, but I mean, like, I have an 8-year-old nephew who's starting to experience all this stuff.
Yeah,
and it's just like, wow, you're seeing things like this at such a young age.
Yeah,
and I couldn't fathom it.
Like I don't know. There needs to be some kind of, like, even if you're like 13, you should not have a Twitter account. Like, I don't know. Like, having kids now, it's just like, I'm like, you guys are never touching a phone ever. Like, I'm sorry, you're never touching a phone. You're gonna get a fake phone, and that's all you're gonna get, because Okay.
You know when I got my first cell phone? When I was
When?
18 going to college. That's
Okay.
when I got my first cell phone. So all you youngins out there. And I say this because both of my nephews, 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, have iPads. And it's just like, why?
Yeah. But yeah, I see it's tragedy, and I mean, I'm not familiar enough with her, I never watched her wrestle, but just seeing at least what other people have said, she seemed like, an amazing person that tragically.
Yeah. And then just before we wrap, we do have to bring up the one other huge tragedy in wrestling this week of Shad Gaspard passing away at age 39 for saving his son's life in the ocean when they were pulled from a riptide. Made sure the lifeguards got his son before him, and then he got pulled under. This one is, I know, especially hard, and hits both of us in different ways, because Shad was a friend of mine, and you, Tom, as a father, like doing all this, and Shad was the type of person who always wanted to help people and had a very infectious, positive attitude. And it's clear in that because all the things that you see on social media, speaking of which, talking about Shad, is he was universally loved, and from anyone, whether they're in WWE, former WWE, other wrestling organizations, they've all been paying tribute to him. Pro Wrestling Tees has a shirt out where all the proceeds go to Shad Gaspard. Collar and Elbow have a T-shirt out where all the proceeds will go to Shad's family. And he has a GoFundMe, which has eclipsed already over 100,000 as of this recording in, I think, less than 2 days, from fans, people in the wrestling business. I did a few, like sketches with Shad over the years. And he was just a fun guy who loved his son, and he would always type it out SUN when he would post things, because his son was his light. That was his shining light. And it just absolutely hurts. But at the same time, it's just like he was literally a hero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this one definitely hit close to the heart, where you're like, oh, like I could just I don't even, like, it's just like, holy crap. And like, I remember like watching, back in college with Crime Time, and, just all the things everyone said about him, just how, great of a guy he was. You're just like, I mean, to me, at least recently, to me, like the thing that I always like remember about him is that video of him and MVP from Mania last year.
Yep.
After when Kofi won, was just like such a touching video to watch.
Yeah,
that someone like recorded them. But yeah, this definitely is hits too close to home. To just it's just so sad, and you're like, what is like I thought of this the other day, and I was like, oh, I hope I remember to say this now. Can someone please invent a time machine so we can go back to 2019 and fix all this? Because 2020 sucks. Like, this is like it just sucks. So you're just like, thoughts and prayers go out to his friends and family and everyone. Because
absolutely. And again, Pro Wrestling Tees, and I believe ColorNobleBrand.com as well. They do have sales going on over Memorial Day, so you can save money while also donating to the family. If you don't have the between $20 to $30 for a shirt, you can go to the GoFundMe page and donate $5 to his family. Anything, any little bit will help with that. So if you're able to, and just share your favorite memories of Shad, as so many people have, whether it's something that you saw on TV or maybe you worked with him on some other project, and just try to show support, because he really was a good person, a funny person. The amount of Jew jokes he threw at me were nonstop. I loved them, because they're all in good fun. And yeah, I'm really sorry for our listeners that we have to end on such a sad note, but we have to talk about these things.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately how the week ended. But we want to know what you guys thought of everything with SmackDown, and share your memories of Shad, as well as with Kimura, if you recognize or saw anything of her work. We'd love to know about it. And you can chat with us on various forms of social media. Tom, how can people reach out to you?
You can find me Twitter, Instagram, Tom.com. Also check out my Etsy store, Connolly Central.
All right, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh_Tariff, YouTube.com/Josh Tariff. This week on Josh Talks on Tuesday, my guest is Joe Galley, who is the voice of NWA Power. So you definitely want to check that out. Again, with all the sales going on those websites, you can use the promo code Rosenberg and save yourself more on them as well. And for all your other reality and wrestling news and gossip, follow AfterBuzz on Twitter at AfterBuzzTV. Thanks for tuning in this week. For Tom Connolly, I'm Josh Tariff, and we will see you later.